And for the first time, I'm not reporting or I'm not speaking to you guys from on the same day as the United game. I've just been mad. Um, Man United lost to Brighton. I don't want to come and come over here and say I said so or I told you so. I was actually optimistic before the game. I thought Fletcher, um, just with a change of system or whatever, might be able to and rejuvenate the team. But it wasn't to be. And many issues. Let's unpack that and then, we'll talk about some of the other developments. But I genuinely just could not, you know, come live straight after that game because it was just crazy. These players have drove us mad all season, half the season. The Amorim debacle, Man United have pressed the reset button once again. The hierarchy, Ineos, Guineos, Glazer plus Ineos. It's just a disaster. All right. So where do we start? Let's start on the football. Let's start on the pitch. We'll see if I can try and recall the setup. I believe Man United started in a 4-2-3-1. Lamens and Diego Dalot. Who else? I'd right back. Lenny Yoro. Martinez gets another game as he comes back. And no Luke Shaw, but Patrick Dorgu starts at left back. And then we had Casemiro was given the day off. It's not a Premier League game. So Kobe Mainu, someone who's been, United fans have been going on about Kobe Mainu playing. He got given only his second start in the entire season, next to Ugarte. The three in front were... Who were the three in front? I think it was Mount, Bruno, and Cunha, and Sesko as the number 9. All right. On paper, you look at this. It's not an entire. It's not a disaster, right? It's a 4-2-3-1. It's probably the formation, the selection of choice. We've played well. Comment just come in. Hello from London. Excellent. Hi, Jessam 91. Pleased to have you. I'm from Northwest London myself. And what's this channel about? Well, it's about Man United. Regrettably, I'd rather be talking about ICE and the US and Trump and whatnot, but it's about Man United. It's about our debacle of a season. So, hope you enjoy it. If this is of interest to you. All right, no problems. See you later, Jessam. Okay, so where was I? Yeah, on paper, 4-2-3-1, not all bad. But let's look at the personnel, and then we'll talk about Fletcher, because a lot of people will be like, well, Fletcher, literally nothing on him. People are not even thinking about it. But before we go into the formation and try and unpack, and I'm not going to make this about Fletcher. Look, he's come in. He's one of our own, one of our legends. And he was given this job, however small of it. First of all, Fletcher is our under 18s coach, and he's done a great job. But I want to, before I go into the actual selection, I've watched under 18 football. I followed us a little bit, not too much. There are a lot of people covering it. Obviously, anything Man United is news, global news. And while he's known for attacking play, plenty of goals, I mean, it's under 18, so take it with a pinch of salt. One thing that stands out about Fletcher with his football, yes, he's taken that Sir Alex Ferguson Man United way of, you know, expansive, making the pitch bigger, etc. But one key thing about it is Fletcher likes a slow build up. He wants to build up from the back. I think he's taken the overall idea of, the United DNA, but adopted it with a newer style of playing, with playing from the back, keeper to defenders, passing it around, going round, passing it into midfield, and midfield, if they can't progress it, pass it back. Once it gets towards the wing play, that's when it becomes exciting. Hunter Kimmer, hi to you too. All right. And guys, a couple of points about that. As I was saying this to my friends, and I'm not, this is not because I want to sound like a genius, but I could see that in the United game. When we drew, I didn't have as much of a problem with it. But against Brighton, this is where, within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I said we were going to lose. And this was not us being defeatist or whatever, but I said we we're going to lose. Purely on the basis of, I didn't think Fletcher would be so obstinate, number one, and I didn't think the players would take to and adapt to his coaching, to whatever he says, so quickly. And these 2 points is what made me think, well, no, we're going to lose. Why? Because Brighton are probably, well, they are easily one of the best pressing sides in the Premier League, and probably actually the best and the most efficient. So while a lot of teams want to press, Liverpool have done it for years and they still want to press, but in a different way. Man City, they're not quite as efficient, in my opinion, as Brighton. And for United to be passing the ball at the back and to start off, I mean, we nearly got caught out. Lamens nearly gave the ball away 4-2-0. Now, a keeper like Lamens, I mean, he started and straight away I think he gave an air of calmness and an air of confidence. He has actually been, in my opinion, the single most biggest reason for United's improvement under Amorim this this season. Because when we had Onana, it was an absolute calamity. It was a disaster. Lamens came, okay, made a couple of mistakes, didn't really get punished, but then he grew on to be a super calm keeper, inspired the defense. The defenders were making mistakes, but that was on them. And one of the key things that Lamens changed was he was not fearful of taking Route 1. And I think that credit has to go to Amorim, especially now. Credit goes to Amorim because he brought in a young keeper. He brought in a keeper that was going to be here for years, decades. And he made us forget about the goalkeeping disastrous situation we had with Onana instantly. And one of the reasons he was able to do that is because he took the Route 1 football when he needed to be. He focused on his shot stopping. Okay, it wasn't extraordinary, it wasn't brilliant. There weren't like many match-saving saves, but he made those saves, focused on not making the errors. That's number one. Make the big saves when he could, and he made quite a few of them. Didn't go on to make extraordinary saves, and I call them David De Gea saves that keepers should not be able to make, but he makes them. Listen, Man United, sorry to digress, but Man United have had a great history with keepers, certainly in recent times, with Schmeichel, Van der Sar, and De Gea. And my own favourite, Schmeichel. Um, Plenty of people, other favourites, the two biggest teams. The 1999 had Schmeichel, and the 2008 European Championship winning team had Van der Sar. And most fans, I would say probably 80% of fans, will go with either one of those two being the our best keepers ever. I am also in the camp, in De Gea's camp, because De Gea had about 5 years, 6 years at Man United, in my opinion, where he was the best. Period. He was the best in not as great a team, which is why when he was the best, he won the Player of the Season. The So Must Be awards, etc. No other keeper has done that. No other keeper will do that, in my opinion. So for me, it goes Schmeichel, De Gea, and Van der Sar. But literally, it's like half a mark between them. But it's just to show my appreciation for De Gea. Now, Le Mans, before Amorim got the sack, he was starting to make those saves a la De Gea. Those cool, calm, one-on-one saves with his feet. Wasn't quite the extraordinary yet, but come on, he's only been playing half a season. And I thought, brilliant. We've got a top keeper for years to come. No problems. What happens? Fletcher comes in, start playing from the back, start passing, and you could see we were being told and coached and told repeatedly to pass from the back. Against the worst team to do that, he gave the ball away. Nearly cost us. He actually makes a save. Why? Why? Right? And I hope this is something that whoever comes in, Carrick's now come in. Don't touch what doesn't need to be touched. Don't try and fix what is not broken. Le Mans is not a problem. Our goalkeeping situation has not been a problem. I get it. It is part of the puzzle. If you've got one of those ideologies and philosophies to build it from the back, tiki-taka, all of that stuff, then it requires the goalkeeper to be changing and integrating within that team. But guys, this is where I go back to the board. Surely, use your brains, choose a manager who is either fits a philosophy that you think or has a few philosophies that you think, okay, he can make the best of what he has now and then later on can build on whatever he wants to do. Or B, choose a manager who is open to adapting and back that manager. This is where the United board, with Ratcliffe, Ineos, Glazers, and everyone, whoever is making, Barada, Wilcox, you name it, where they've been extremely wrong is they have gone against their own grain, i.e., they've sacked a perfectly capable manager in Ten Hag, who, in my opinion, is probably the best coach, one of the best coaches that we've had, as in coaches. He got us to. He had a lot. He got us to change a lot technically. I think he improved the likes of McTominay and Rashford. Rashford has his best season under him. he improved the players technically. But he knew there was a clear lack of ability, be it tactical, technical, whatever. And he adapted. You know, he molded himself to adapt to what he was given. And my goodness, that manager got us in finals, got us winning trophies, didn't have as disastrous a season in the league as we've done since then. We've brought in Amorim, and statistically, in 14 months, he's had the worst results that any manager certainly post Sir Alex Ferguson has had. Facts. How has he done that? He's taken a team which won 3 or 4 trophies in 2 years. He's bottled the final against Spurs, and it must be added, it is against Spurs. It is against a team that doesn't win trophies. It is a team that we were better than. It was a team that was even lower than us in the Premier League, believe it or not, us having finished 14th or 15th. And we lost to them in the Europa League final. So, bad in-game management, terrible in the league. This year, I don't care what people say, we were up to 6th or 5th. We were not mentally strong enough to break into it. Every time we had the chance to break into top 2 or top 4 or even top 5, we bottled it. The rest of them, they've been losing games. I think Arsenal's been the only consistent team. Liverpool were an absolute joke and a mockery of a club, team, whatever. And yet Liverpool are still ahead of us. How can we credit Amorim? Yes, by the time he was sacked, we were probably, I don't know, 6th, 5th, 7th. I think it was 6th. But we were 4 points ahead of 15th. Facts. Right? That's not a big improvement. Sure, I'd rather be 4 points ahead and I'd rather be 6th than at the bottom, but that's not a clear improvement, especially when you consider we have no European competitions to go for. He already cost us with his poor decision making, bad selection of Onana, etc. against Grimby. He's already cost us a cup. He was always going to cost us the FA Cup as well. That was an Amorim team, okay? It was under the name of Fletcher. Fine. Both cups are gone. Both domestic cups are gone. No European competitions to go for. We just have the league to focus on. How are we only 4 points ahead of 15th place? Been a terrible season. So, I'm not, by any way, shape or form, deflecting from Amorim when I say that. He has not been delivering. However, and I'll get back to the game, however, to sack him and in the position and in the manner that we did it with no replacements, that's also not right. Anyway, we go back towards the game. Brighton. St. Elements in goal. Passes back. We concede. We concede anyway. That defense was all over the place. He then makes a mistake, makes a back pass, and we nearly conceded a second goal from that. And still, Fletcher didn't change the system. We continued in the same vein. Now, when I look at the selection, look, it was against Brighton. We should be beating Brighton. It was in the cup, so I get it that he's rested Casemiro. Fine. But Kobe Mainoo paired with Ugarte, he could see it's not working. That midfield was still shit. Why didn't we have a change? Why didn't we make a change? Secondly, at left back, okay, fine. Dorgu was bought by Amorim clearly to fit a 5 at the back. He's a wing back. And we've seen his best performances have come attacking, not defending. He's not a left back. Why are you putting him at the left back position? Right? The other mistakes, we can't do much about it. Dalot, I just think Dalot has been riddled with mistakes upon mistakes. Masraoui not here. Mazraoui can't come back any sooner. I can tell you that much now. And we can't do much about that. Lenny Yoro plays fine. And now up front, Mount is not a kind of wing player, but Mount has been playing well. Now, I'm not going to criticize or overly criticize the selection of Mount and Bruno, but Mount has not. Mount has played well, but with Bruno behind him. Or Mount has played well when Bruno's not in this team. I'm not sure why he decided to go with both Mount and Bruno when he could have gone with Lacey straight away, who is a genuine winger. Play Bruno, he's just coming back from injury. Play him one half, play him 60 minutes, and then put Mount in. Right? So those are a few other bits and bobs from the selection that I think, in my opinion, Fletcher could and should have done better. But by no way, shape or form am I blaming this defeat on him. You know, thank you very much for whatever you've done, Fletch, and I hope this experience, these couple of games for in charge of Man United senior team, men's team, can actually benefit you in the future. But he's not ready. I'm glad he's not played his sons, who are definitely not ready, who shouldn't be anywhere near the pitch, in my opinion. Well, maybe on the bench, but they're not ready. Just thank you very much, Fletch. It's not your fault, and I think it's given the fans food for thought, because I think a lot of fans were under the disillusion that, oh, just change it to the back four. Now, I like seeing United in a back four. I'm happy we've played in the back four, and I think we look better, way better. We attack way better. Yes. But just changing this to a back four is not going to make us Premier League title challengers. We've got issues. Martinez is full of mistakes. Hello, you. You coming to say hello? Martinez has made plenty of mistakes. And Dorgu's not a fullback. Dorgu's not a typical flat four fullback. Has to be sure. Dalot hasn't got a great deal of confidence at the moment. I don't want to dismiss him entirely, because I think he had an okay game in the draw. I just think he needs to be out of the firing line. Mazraoui needs to come in. De Ligt needs to walk into this team, and hopefully, you know, the team do need to start training consistently with De Ligt, Martinez, you know, small guy, big guy, sweeper, aggressor, and even though we're going to play expansive, generally the United fullbacks, you know, still compact. One of the videos that screams to me is a little piece that Mourinho did on Sky where he said there are tactics and formations, but then there are the different tactics and formations of play, but then there are principles of play. And one of the principles of play is to always be compact, always be online. What's this imbecile talking about? Get the hell out, idiot. So I think the fundamental principles of United are missing. We don't, yeah, we don't act on it. We don't stay in line. We're not compact. We're not difficult to beat. We're playing expansive football. And what I mean by that, and I'm not, you know, I've only coached up to a certain level, but the principles at United is to make the pitch big. That's generally when you attack. So you want to have the wingers hogging the touchline effectively. But conversely, you don't really want your fullbacks to be all the way out wide, right? But Dorgu is always out wide. He gets beaten, and that's not on the player directly. I'm just saying, maybe because he's not used to it, he's not been that type of player, he's not been brought in for this system, and at the same time, he's not been coached that way as well. So there's always a gap between Dorgu and Martinez, and between the pair of them, they were a disaster. They were an absolute disaster. Similarly, on the right-hand side, but not as bad between Dalot and Lenny Yoro. But we've got to go back to working on the basics. And I think while we're figuring this out, it's not a miracle work, but we can't then include the keeper in this shit show. When the keeper gets the ball, pump it forward. We've got a 6'5" centre forward who leaps like anything, who will outjump any defender, who can outjump any defender. Let's play him. Not all the time. Sometimes fizz it into the midfielders, etc. But give the defenders a break. We don't have a great midfield, which means that any team who's playing against us will have chances, will be open. How about we let our defenders defend? Make them defend. Let them be there to defend and not start building play and doing all sorts of nonsense. And then when they lose ball, they're not in a line, they're not in shape, they're not compact. The basics principles of play goes out. So I think that's what the new manager needs to do. So back to the game. United's midfield, complete donut. We've seen that Bruno as a 10 doesn't do much to help out the midfield, which is something that surprised me, that disappointed me. I'm only going to cut Bruno some slack because he's coming back from injury, but not happy with his play. Kobe, Mainu, and Ugarte don't work together. Casemiro stands head and shoulders above anyone else as a midfielder for Man United, period. And in my opinion, the best person to be alongside him is Ugarte. He's got legs. Mainu's not that person. He's not that player. Ugarte's got legs. He likes to defend, and he can give Casemiro a breather. So I think that has to be the two midfielder. That has to be the midfield. Hopefully Bruno can help them out. He can help them out. And I think when we've got proper number 10, proper wingers, which it'll be crucial to see whether Mbeumo is that guy. I don't know. I don't know why he can't be that guy, because when I look at him, there shouldn't be a reason why he can't do what Salah used to do. He's got similar. He's got I think, similar styles of plays, similar mannerisms, similar attributes. There's no reason why he can't do that. And on the other side, I think we may have a bit of a problem with Cunha, but we'll talk about that later. And Shesko holds the line up. He plays as a number 10. He holds his position, and he's starting to finish. Probably from the game, Shesko was the one bright light, I would say. So yeah, let's do a quick rating before we start to talk about Man United as of now, as of today, how we stand. So Saint-Elements, not great. Made mistakes. He'll have to go under 6. I'll give him a 5.5. Diego Dalot, where do we put him? He's a 5. Not offered much in attack. It's poor. Lenny Yoro. Listen, we conceded 2 goals. He wasn't great. 5.5. Martinez, for me, a 4. He was a disaster. He's meant to be the vice captain of this club, this team. He's been back now. I get it. He's maybe not 100%. He's not fully integrated. But I'm sorry. He's got to have his fair share of criticism. And this match against Brighton was as much as his fault as anybody else. Big issues. And I'm going to say he's actually contributed towards the issues to another player. And I'm going to be generous to Patrick Dorgu. I think Dorgu offered a lot more than Diego Dalot moving forwards. He held his position. He's got the attributes. He was out there putting effort. But between him and Martinez was a disaster. There were holes. We were being picked out. I just choose to give Dorgu the benefit of the doubt and to give Dorgu the better mark because I think he went forward. So I'm going to give Dorgu a 6, an average 6, and Martinez a 4. I think it is down to Martinez to A, hold his position first and foremost, and B, direct Dorgu. Dorgu's a young player, guys. I think he's about 20. I'll check it out after, but I think he's about 20. Martinez is a seasoned professional, World Cup winning player. He's got to do better. In midfield, Ugarte lost. And I think he was not helped by Mainu, and the partnership just didn't work. 5. Mainu for me, poor. I don't know how people are talking good about him. I like him. It's a lot more to do with sentiments. It's a lot more to do with the fact that he's a local guy, he's one of our own, comes from our academy, he's an English player, and all the rest of that. I don't blame Amorim for not playing him, because when he has played, he has not played well, for me, to my liking. So, I'm sorry. 4.5. Bruno Fernandes didn't offer much. He might as well not have played this game. And not only did he offer much by way of creativity, he didn't contribute towards shoring that midfield. We were against, Brighton were pressing us. Brighton were pressing us really well, and we just couldn't beat it. I would have thought a team like Man United should have prepared a lot better and been able to beat that press. Brighton have not got brilliant players. They've got good to really good players who play in an excellent system, who are well oiled and play in real unity. I think that's what Danny Welbeck said as well. I'm literally repeating, in fact, what Danny Welbeck said in the post-match conference. His post-match review of the game. United should know that. They knew how United were going to play. Why didn't United know how Brighton were going to play? We made Brighton look like Bayern Munich with the German press, gegenpressing. It was shocking. United are now a team who not only do we sit back, soak up the pressure against the traditional top teams who will come out and attack against us, but we're now a team who can't play against the second tier, who are decent teams who've got a great system. A Bournemouth, a Brighton, an Aston Villa. We don't play against them either. So what are we? Mid-table mediocrity. Where were we? So Bruno. So Bruno for me, a 5. Mason Mount didn't make too many mistakes. Didn't get the chance to shine. Maybe he's not taken his chance to shine. He had a game to forget for me, Mason Mount. Didn't make mistakes as such, but didn't really impact the game. Mitigating factors, obviously, Mason Mount. He was playing off the right instead of the left, not in the centre. We're just trying to find Mason Mount a home, a berth in this United team, and I feel for him, but not his game. 5.5. Cunha, again, fairly innocuous. Didn't do much to impress. Didn't do much to contribute. And with Cunha, I think we've got a little bit of an issue whereby he's a player who has got good attributes. He's got great physique. He's got an endurance. He's got a key kind of skill in being able to be a carrier, a ball carrier. But he has an awful lot of shots for the quality of shots. Now, it's all right when you're at Wolves, when you don't have good players around you. You can take 50 shots if they yield you 10 goals in this, or 50 shots if they yield you 5 goals, and then repeat and go again and go again and go again. Eventually, you're going to get some. Not at Man United. We can't be breaking, give the ball to Cunha, and he snapshots, doesn't connect well, and we're passing the ball back effectively to the opposition keeper. Doesn't work like that. It's not gonna. That can't continue. So we've got to find a solution for Cunha, and I think we also need to take him off the firing line, because Mason Mount clearly plays better on that centre left rather than the right. And when Mbeumo comes, he's clearly better than Cunha. So I think he's got to be... When we get our players back, I think Cunha is going to have to make way. Got some comments. Forston Caldwell, good comment with Cunha never tracks back to help out on defence. Yep, that's a great point. I don't know if he's been told to not track back, because especially with 4-2-3-1, he's essentially in that third line, essentially one of the 3 attackers, 4-3-3, whatever. Not sure if he's asked, but no, that's definitely a point to be taken, because you can see it's Patrick Dorgu on the left. If a young 20-year-old player can come and assist and join you in attack and just deliver, surely you've got to take it upon yourself to go and help him out in defence. It's just a decent thing to do. He doesn't. and obviously we've got an idiot with probably an Indian, and we're going to remove that idiot. All right. So Cunha, what mark do I give him? Not quite as bad as Bruno in my opinion, so I'll give him what I gave to Mason Mount, which is 5.5. And now on to Shesko. Shesko will definitely be the third player who gets at least a 6 and above, and actually he'll be the only player who gets more than an average score. I'll give Shesko a 7 and the man of the match. He leapt well, scored. This was on the back of the brace that he got the other day. Top scorer under Fletcher with 3 goals, and they didn't get much service today. He had to rely on a set piece, and he got his goal. That's enough for me to take him past the 6 mark and give him the best the men of the match. Look, I can't really remember who else came on, but I'm going to talk about Lacey. For me, I give Lacey a 6.5. He's also above average score, despite getting a red card. Of course, he got that red card, unfortunately. It was unfortunate, but he's also got to watch it. We didn't need him getting a red card. He'll learn from that. Can't criticize him, but what a player. In fact, one of the big reasons I'm happy with Amorim going is for not using Lacey. You know, he was on the bench so many games for so long, and I don't see one single game where Amorim played him. And we could have. Embuemo could have been a number 9. We could have been playing Sean Lacey there easily. But no, he never did. And what a breath of fresh air. What a player. Can't be putting too much expectation on him. And look, that front right hand side, we've got copious amount of talent in there. We've obviously got Embuemo, we've got Ahmad, we've now got Lacey there. Got to find a way to make it work. I'd be stupefied to if whoever comes in. I keep saying whoever comes in, and we're going to talk about that. But Carrick's come in, hasn't he? I'll be very, very surprised to see Carrick using Ahmad as the right back. It would be great if we could. I can't see that happening. Just looking at the team, guys, we've got certain positions we're clear issues. Right backs, easily an issue. We don't have an expert there. I mean, Diego Dalot, I've got a little bit of sympathy, guys. When he was just a right back, I think he was all right. When I'm talking about the times when we had Wan-Bissaka and Dalot, I was happier to keep Dalot than Wan-Bissaka because I think Dalot was probably the more complete, wasn't as good a defender as Wan-Bissaka, certainly not with those spider-like legs, Spider-Man legs that Wan-Bissaka had one-on-one defending. No, that's not Dalot. But he put in crosses, he assisted, he played into the system. Great. And then Amorim came, and I think Amorim ruined Diego Dalot completely. Put him in that 5 at the back, and started playing him left back, left wing back. I think that was criminal. Dalot's good. He's not as good a player. So, but now, I don't even think he's got the confidence to even be a good, genuine right back for Man United. So that's an issue. Can Ahmad play that position? I don't know. I don't think so. But let's see. Perhaps he could play if we've got enough time to adapt and to really have help from Delit, perhaps. I don't know. But that's an issue. The midfield has been an issue. I do think we can find a solution. It will be a stopgap. It will be a quick fix, because Casemiro is not going to go forever. So we've got to look at other midfielders. For me, Baleba has not been the player, has not been 100 million player, has not been the player that United were crying for. So I'm super curious as to see who United will bring into that engine. And up front, look, Šeško's on form, whatever form you can say this is. 2 matches back to back that he scored, but it's an issue. It's an issue because Xerxes can't play there. Chido Obi, Mikhail, sorry, Chido Obi Martin is not, has not been thrown into the thick of things, into the action by either managers. I don't know or think they fancy him. But Šeško has still got lots to learn. He's not the final piece of the jigsaw. He's not a player who we can hang our hats on. He's still learning his trade. We need someone who can guarantee us goals. We need to have a system of play and someone who can come onto the end of these crosses, guarantee us goals, and get us over that finishing line. He's not that guy yet. So I think we need to go out and get a stud, somebody like an Osimhen. But we need to get someone. So that's it by way of transfers. Do I think we can get those players in this transfer window? No. I think we can get a right back. We can get a younger, much better prospect than what Delo will be at right back. We can maybe look at getting someone in centre midfield. Do I think we're going to get the superstar number 9? No. But I do. Can we go out and strengthen our squad? Yes, certainly we can. Will we do that? I don't think so, because we've just had a caretaker manager. We've got an interim manager coming in Carrick. So we are going to save our money until the summer, until we get a new manager and give him the budget. This is what I think will happen. And at the same time, we're not in any competitions, guys. We have literally got less than 20 games till the end of the season. We've got 18 games till the end of the season, right? That's it. So it's 18 finals, and we've got more than enough players. For each position, we've got 2 players. We've got players coming back from AFCON. We've got players coming back from injury. We should be able to do it with the squad. And I don't blame the owners in that way. Let's talk about the manager situation. Why did we sack Amorim? And listen, he was not good. In my opinion, he was bad. He's been proven to be a bad hire, a bad recruit. But why did we sack Amorim when we did not have a plan B? We did not have an idea of who will come to replace him. We haven't got a replacement lined up. We haven't got a Scooby. Why? Is it because he upset someone so much that their ego could not take it and have to sack the manager? Is it that the case? Because if that's the case, and it looks like that's the case, then it's a pretty shoddy behavior from a toxic board. if you're not man enough to take some criticism from the person who you appointed, and you can't have it out, you can't work on it, you're being a child about it, you sack him with no other plan in place, that's toxic. And results are proving to be that. Since Amrim's gone, we've not won. 2 games, no wins. Now we've got a interim manager coming in. So we've had a caretaker take on 2 games. We've got an interim manager coming in. And I must say, the names that were being talked about, we had already done a piece. Guys, I wasn't about any of the ex-Man United players. And I want to talk about something before I go into the manager. Roy Keane, you have been a great servant for the club in the positions that you have played, the midfield, as a captain. But Roy Keane, you are a fucking disaster of a human being. You are disrespectful, you're petty, and you're a bully. To call out Ferguson and try and keep finding a way to show his pettiness towards something that happened in the past, i.e. Ferguson apparently not being loyal to Roy Keane and showing him the door, you're now calling him out and saying he's around the club like a bad smell with David Gill. Big man you are. You already were a piece of shit when it comes to what you say in the media. Always have done since even he was a captain. Had a very bad habit of coming to the media, airing your dirty linen out in public, talking out of place. You are only a player. It's not your place. And Ferguson called it out, rightly so. And now he's being paid by Sky to run his mouth. He's calling Ferguson out when he's no longer getting paid. Why are you lumping the state of the club on an old 84, 85-year-old man? Who, let's face it, guys, I think Ferguson's old age and medical issues have caught up with him big time. I don't think he has anything to do with the team. If at all anything, he's like what Bobby Charlton used to be for us, and can hopefully, with his figure, inspire players. And for this arsehole to sit there and say he's hanging around the club like a bad smell, I'm not having that. Geezer, I'm not having that. I take serious exception to that. You're being paid to chat shit. And then he's got his pals, the likes of Nicky Butt, even Paul Scholes, saying that he deserves to be Man United manager. Get out of here. He'll never be Man United manager. He's been a shit manager, which is why he's sat in the studio in the first place. He's a sensationalist. As a United fan, I do not take this disrespect of Sir Alex Ferguson. And in my opinion, the players who have played under him, the likes of Gary Neville, Bex, I know they've got divided loyalty. They shouldn't. They respect Sir Alex Ferguson a lot. But then they also do not stand up to this arsehole. when he talks disrespectfully about his old boss. This guy would not have won half the trophies that he has won, but for Ferguson. And yet he's got the audacity to come here and just run his mouth at every given occasion. If tomorrow United get, God forbid, but if they get relegated, it will be on Ferguson. How is he still talking and obsessed with Sir Alex Ferguson, who has been retired from the club, retired from his position over 12 years ago? It's preposterous, guys. It's genuinely, for me, it's absurd. And I'm very, very surprised that people in media have not called him out. It's really, really uncalled for, irrespective of the team you support. Irrespective. He's lumping the blame on an old 84-year-old man sat in the stands enjoying bloody sweets with his pals. Get a life, get a grip of yourself. And now coming back to the rest of them. But they all kiss his ass. All these players, the likes of Solskjaer, Gary Neville, Nicky Butt, Paul Scholes, all of them. And that's why I said I did not want an ex-Man United player to come in. Having said that, and the fact that we were given, it was going to go one of two ways. I am relieved we've not gone back with Solskjaer. I'm just relieved we've not gone back with Solskjaer. We're not going out with this, oh, let's make people feel nice, the Rashies, the Tonys, the whatever. Carrick is an English manager. I think it's about time Manchester United had an English manager, a British manager. I think I've always been a big Man United are no doubt for me the biggest British team in this land, in the Isles. And our two biggest managers, Sir Alex Ferguson, Sir Matt Busby, okay, they're Scottish, they're British. Native English speaking, British, they know the culture of this country, they know what it means, first and foremost, and then they understand the club. I think it's important. How important, let's see. Didn't work for David Moyes, so it's not a guarantee. That's not the prerequisite. I'm just saying it's nice. It's nice to have a British manager, especially an English manager, coming in firstly. And and he's played for Man United. He understands the culture. But for me, that is secondary. Anyone, doesn't matter whether you've played for Man United or not, you know about Man United. It's just whether you can adapt to that. And secondly, what is crucial for me is Carrick has managed in English football. All right, he's not managed a Premier League club yet, but in Middlesbrough, he's managed a big enough team, a team that will be in the Premier League, I believe, next season. So he's managed to a decent enough level. Would I have gone for him straight away? For me, no. I would have thought the board would have had an idea of who to get. They would have done some due diligence. They haven't. So for me, ideally, they would have gone in for a mainstream manager. Go out and get Zidane. Go out and talk to Zidane. Like, go out and talk to lots of managers out there. You know, Ancelotti managing the World Cup. I mean, Tuchel managing the World Cup. Go out and speak to all these guys. right? Maybe they have spoken. We don't entirely know. Maybe they have spoken and they just can't make an announcement. Could be the case. But I would have personally wanted a manager who can, you know, if they've shortlisted a manager who is free now, get him in. If not, get an interim manager who can take us to the end of the season and then jump in on one of the aforementioned managers who are managing in the World Cup. I think ideal situation. Carrick, I think, has got good attributes, good credentials, but he also needs to be given a coaching team. And now I don't want him to have his coaching team, which he had at Middlesbrough. Ideally, I think the coaching team, and I've repeatedly said this, Amrim and his coaching team have done a good job with the players, training the players, putting them in certain positions, etc. We just need to tweak the formation. He just needed to tweak the formation. Ideally, we needed Amrim, the coach, and have an in-game manager to be somebody else. It's a bit like Arteta and Pep Guardiola. Arteta was a brilliant coach for Guardiola, came into Arsenal, continued being a great coach, was just not a great manager. That's how I see the situation with Amorim. So with Carrick in place, I just hope that he senses it, he smells that, you know, the changes that need to be impacted in the game. He smells blood. He manages the team properly. But I was hoping that we would be able to keep the same coaching team and draw some kind of consistency until there's a new change in the summer. So yeah, that's me on the situation, on the current affairs at Man United. I was not in a position to emotionally be able to address anyone and get any kind of sense out of myself, because as you can see, it's just a roller coaster, too emotional, just a mess. I think United have finally hit rock bottom. And rock bottom under, is a lack of games, guys. Last season was very, very close to it, finishing as low as we did. I never thought Man United in my lifetime would ever be in that kind of position, but thanks to Amorim, we did. And this season, again, thanks to Amorim, we're out of the cups. We're better in the league, but it's a very, very precarious position that we're in. I'm worried because what do we do with Carrick? Let's say Carrick comes in and results don't go well. There's no pressure, guys. Nothing's going to happen. He doesn't lose much. He already knows he's only in till the end of the season. Right? The players already know he's not the guy to impress. The players already know that he isn't going to be the main manager. He's not going to be the manager. So it's just, we're playing for pride right now. But as fans, and I hope that word pride resonates with them, because as fans, I am still tuned in to go to watch Man United both at the stadium and at home. I'm still tuned in for us to have a good season, and as great a season as possible. It's still there to play for. We are still 7th. We are still within touching distance of both ends. Touching distance of 15th, and we are touching distance of 3rd or 4th. So we can go one of two ways. Which way, that's Carrick and the players to decide. So with that, I'll let you guys go. Take care. Have a great evening, great night, wherever you are. Good day. and I'll see you on the next game. Ciao, ciao.